John the Baptist or 10 embryos?
10 embryos.
Oh my God, dude.
You could say, actually, I'll do you one better. Jesus Christ, 10 embryos, 10 embryos.
No way! Tell us how you still support this maniac president who likes to threaten genocide and argue rules for thee but not for me, as he's telling anybody who's come within 200 feet of the Oval Office that they will get a full and complete presidential pardon at the end of their term, essentially telling his loyalists in his cabinet to break the law to further his agenda.
I support the work that he did in getting Roe v. Wade overturned. I think that he was helping us at least begin the process of stopping that from happening in America, because it is rooted in Planned Parenthood is rooted in racism. Margaret Sanger's obviously right. Oh God, like how dare we support an organization founded by somebody like that, correct?
Well, I'd actually argue that banning abortion is ultimately rooted in racism because black women get a disproportionate number of abortions compared to white women due to the fact that 57% of women who get abortions indicate that it's because of financial instability, and because of racism, its aftermath, a lack of generational wealth, and over-policing of predominantly black neighborhoods, and discrepancies in the average socioeconomic standards of black Americans compared to white Americans. This means that black women are more likely to experience said financial instability, meaning that they'd be more likely to get abortions. So in other words, when we're advocating to overturn access to abortion, we're essentially supporting a program that ultimately would disparage black people. Not to mention that you're arguing here that it's rooted in racism because the founder of the company was a racist. Margaret Sanger absolutely was. Okay, well, this is like arguing that if you buy a Volkswagen today, then you're a Nazi because Volkswagen was originally an automotive company brought up in Nazi Germany to create bombs for Hitler. All right. But no, like clearly what we'd argue here is that when Volkswagen was operating under Nazi Germany, they were absolutely a racist Nazi company. But due to the fact that Nazi Germany is dead now, Hitler's dead, the Third Reich crumbled. And now Volkswagen has gone through generations of different board members and CEOs that do not support Nazi Germany. They would no longer be a racist company today, the same way I would argue that Planned Parenthood is no longer a racist company today.
So you're saying black women have more abortions because of the issue for their finances?
Black women are disproportionately more likely to access abortion compared to white women because they're disproportionately more likely to experience financial instability because of systemic racism, slavery, and its aftermath. Yes.
Well, it's interesting that you say that. I've actually never heard somebody say that the reason why black women have more abortions than any other demographic of women is because of their finances. Usually people say the majority of people that get abortions are because of medical concerns versus elective reasons, which how can you defend anything to do with Planned Parenthood? Like a car isn't, my opinion, a car is a lot less valuable than a human being.
Because they ensure that women have access to their reproductive freedom and healthcare.
It's not reproductive
thank
freedom.
You so much for the wolf. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
It's the intentional unalivement of an innocent human being. And you just brought up...
Which would be healthcare.
You brought up a car.
Yeah, killing a fetus is healthcare, absolutely. Based.
Well, what is a fetus then? How can you support a fetus being unalived?
When you ask me the question, what is a fetus? I don't really know what you mean because it's like a rather arbitrary question. I'm assuming that you want me to say that it's a human being. Okay, yeah, it is because it's a live human being from the moment of conception. I just don't think that there's any reason why we'd argue that it's wrong to kill it because I can't identify any reason why it would be wrong to kill it.
Well, I guess if you're going to approach...
Oh, wait. But you were making the argument that before we even talk about the morality or ethics of abortion, I actually want you to make the argument that Planned Parenthood is racist today. Please. I'm sorry. Like, I hear that every so often. I think it's insane every time. And I would love to hear that argument from you.
79% of all Planned Parenthoods are located in minority communities. You even accept that, correct?
What is a minority community?
It's a community that is inhabited mostly by people of a certain demographic or race.
What is that certain demographic?
And so minority...
Wait. So you're arguing that a minority community is a community in which is made up of at least 51% of one race?
They're groups that differ from the dominant societal majority in race, ethnicity, culture, etc. So they have lower social status, they're marginalized, and they have less people in those communities.
Wait, so you're just saying that 79% of Planned Parenthoods are in areas where like the average like GDP per capita is lower than that of the countries?
Well, I'm not saying that. That's what Congress is saying.
Oh, okay. So in other words, your claim is that 79% of Planned Parenthoods are in areas where the average GDP is like lower than that of the country as a whole. Is that what your claim is?
The GDP doesn't really have an impact on the point that I'm trying to make in the position.
So then, like, what trait are you using to determine that they're quote unquote minority communities? That's the question that I'm asking you. you? Are you saying that a quote-unquote minority community is a community that is disproportionately made up of marginalized demographics in comparison to their makeup of like nationwide demographics? Like, once again, you're just using this phrase, 79% of them are in quote-unquote minority communities, but I don't think that you've properly described to us what a quote-unquote minority community even is.
So there's different types of minorities. And when we're talking about people that get abortions, we're talking about women. Do you agree that women are the only kind of person to give an abortion, or do you think that men can also get an abortion?
Well, what we'll say is that females are the only type of people who could get abortions.
Okay.
And we'll stay with that claim, because if we were to make this about gender identity, then all of a sudden we'd be having a debate about what a woman is instead of why you think that Planned Parenthood is racist. But you still haven't answered my question. Once again, you're arguing that Planned Parenthood is racist because 79% of them are in quote-unquote minority communities, but you can't even tell us what a minority community is. So in other words, you're essentially telling us that Planned Parenthood is racist because 79% of them are in areas that you can't define, that you can't explain.
They target black
you can't
people.
tell us anything about.
There's different kinds of minorities, and I hope that you would agree with that, correct?
They're different kind of minorities. Yes, but you have yet to tell us what a quote-unquote minority community is.
We're talking about people that get abortions. We're talking about women, and you acknowledge that black women are more likely to get an abortion than a white woman or any other demographic of a woman.
Okay, so now you're shifting the claim away from arguing that Planned Parenthood is racist because 79% of them are in quote-unquote minority communities. Because you can't tell us what a minority community is, but now you're shifting the claim to arguing that it's racist because they disproportionately serve to black women compared to white women. Okay, that's fine. Now tell me why you think that Planned Parenthood would be racist in consideration of the fact that women are disproportionately more likely to get abortions compared to white women. Tell me why that makes Planned Parenthood racist.
Because they're located specifically in the communities where those people are, making it easier access for them. They lower the cost of abortions for people that don't have insurance. And if you're saying that black women are inherently more poor than any other demographic of woman or person, then they're accommodating for them. And that's exactly, they're targeting black women. And that's exactly what Margaret Sanger did, was target black women. You even acknowledged that. So somebody that's starting an organization to target a certain kind of community, specifically a racial community, and then now that they're not alive, they're continuing to do that. Why wouldn't they disperse Planned Parenthoods in all kinds of communities and not just specifically centrally focused in communities that are inhabited mostly by black women? That are of low income, and according to you.
So the first claim that I'll make is you said that I said that black women are inherently poor. So first and foremost, inherency means that a black woman would always be poor because poorness is inherent to being a black woman. I never claimed that. The only person that's claimed that is apparently you. And then the second claim that I made wasn't about them being poor. It's about black women, the realistic fact that black women are more likely to experience financial instability when in comparison to white women for all the reasons that I went over. So saying that black women are more likely to experience financial instability because of systemic racism is very different than making the claim that black women are inherently poor. Okay, so I think it's very important here that we be precise about the claims that each other are making, because it seems like now you want to paint me out to be a crazy racist because I'm dunking on you in this debate where you're trying to argue that Planned Parenthood is racist. Now, the second thing that I'll say here is it seems like we've finally gotten a definition of what a quote-unquote minority community is. You're telling us that a minority community is one with a disproportionate amount of black women. So now please tell me, where can I find the evidence for the claim that 79% of Planned Parenthoods are in areas with majority black women?
Yeah, so two things I want to say. The first is, if I misquoted you or even myself in what I was saying earlier, I do apologize. This is my first time on your panel. I've actually been quite, not nervous, but hesitant to come on and talk to you because I am really good friends with somebody that I know for a fact that you hate and that has cooked you several times. So I'm sure he's in here watching, waiting to come up, but what a great
I dunk on you both.
Well, you're not really dunking. You didn't dunk on him last night. I was watching for a while, and we've been talking about it all day today.
Well, Kenzie, it's because that you're a delusional Trump supporter. You don't track reality. Or else you want to support a rapist as president, okay? But, like, clearly, I wouldn't expect people who are delusional and don't track reality and argue that access to abortion is healthcare and rapists should be presidents to, like, be able to, like, correctly represent a debate I had with some random other nerd last night. I asked you for a source for the claim. You haven't given it yet. I'm actually going to drop that question because I have a better one for you. Do you think that Walmart is racist?
I don't know. I haven't researched the history of Walmart and
Oh wait, why? Because in comparison to other businesses,
what Walmart is
Walmarts
doing.
are more likely to exist and to serve areas with disproportionately lower incomes compared to the country average, due to the fact that the items in which are sold at Walmarts cost less in comparison to other stores. All right.
Do
But
Walmarts-
now, if you want to make an
are
argument that
Walmarts
that's why,
responsible-
one moment. If you want to make
Okay.
the argument that that's why Walmart would be racist, I feel like most people would turn around and they say, well, that doesn't make any sense. Because like clearly if a company is going to sell like products that cost less compared to that same product on a nationwide average, like capitalism would just naturally dictate that they'd be more likely in comparison to other companies to exist in areas with a lower like median income. But like this same thing would be true for access to abortion. Like we already agreed here, a vast majority of abortions are received because of financial instability. So if we would see a propensity for Planned Parenthoods to disproportionately exist in areas that experience more financial instability than the country average, that would be a natural dictation of the market, given that capitalism is true. And then the second layer that we're looking for here is that, well, if black women are more likely to experience financial instability than white women because of systemic racism, slavery, and its aftermath, then it would also be true that black women would be disproportionately likely to live in areas with lower socioeconomic standards in comparison to the nationwide average or that of white people. Therefore, the conclusion would be true is that black women are disproportionately more likely in comparison to white people to live in areas that are more likely to also have a Planned Parenthood. But this isn't because Planned Parenthood is specifically targeting black women, but this is rather because of the natural dictation of the market where Planned Parenthoods would be more likely to exist similar to Walmart's, and then the unnatural racist dictation of the market that that black women are more likely to experience financial instability because of systemic racism and its aftermath. And I would actually argue here that you only want to further that issue and further reduce the financial standards of the average black American in this country, because the leading cause of poverty in women is childbirth, and now you want to force all of these black women who are disproportionately more likely to experience that instability and to access abortion to forcefully give birth to a child that they don't want, to then be more likely to be driven into poverty while simultaneously violating their human rights, because I think it's a human rights violation to deny a woman access to elective abortion. So if anybody's racist here, it's quite frankly you and your worldview.
So me wanting more black people walking this planet makes me racist.
You wanting to infringe upon the human rights of more black people disproportionately compared to white people is what could possibly make you racist.
Well, what's interesting is that you bring up Walmart, because Walmart isn't responsible for the unalivement of over 40 million black people, correct?
The argument that you made was not that Planned Parenthood is racist because they're responsible for abortion.
It is.
The argument that you rather made is that Planned Parenthood is racist because they disproportionately target areas where black people are more likely to live in comparison to white people.
Yeah, well, the reason why they're located in those areas has nothing to do with finances. It has to do with the color of their skin. I don't know about you, but I don't determine.
Wait, prove it,
somebody's
because I just
value
gave you a
or-
good argument to prove that claim wrong. Prove that. I just gave you a
Right, so
really
then
good
there's
argument
this
to
whole
prove what you
part
just
of
said
it
wrong.
where there's this whole part though where you have to like listen to what I say, and I know
Okay.
that you're really okay. So anyway, Walmart isn't in low income communities because they want to murder the children that are there, and that's exactly what Planned Parenthood is doing. Walmart isn't responsible for the unalivement of innocent black people.
You're not
Planned
answering my
Parenthood
question.
is.
The question
Okay,
that I
reset
asked you
reset your
is,
question.
I want you to prove that the reason why Planned Parenthoods are disproportionately more likely to exist in areas with median incomes below that of the nationwide average is because of targeting the color of black people's skin. Prove that claim.
Margaret Sanger.
Yeah, this is where you go back to Margaret Sanger saying that
Yes,
she's racist.
of course.
Did you know that
And
she
you wouldn't?
died? Did you know that she died before like 99% of all Planned Parenthoods were built and the company was taken over by others? And did
Yeah.
you know that she died
Disgusting.
before abortion was legal in any state in this country? So I don't think just merely pointing out the fact that Margaret Sanger was racist is going to be indicative that the claim is true, that therefore the reason why 99.9% of all the Planned Parenthoods that were built like years and decades after she died was because they want to target black people. Not to mention that once again, like I'm sure like that if we were to go back and look at the founder of Walmart or the founder of these other companies in which are disproportionately more likely to exist in predominantly low-income areas, that the founder would probably be racist too, okay? Because let's face the fact, our grandparents' generation endorsed sundown towns, our grandparents' generation endorsed separate drinking fountains, our grandparents' generation endorsed racial segregation. So if you were to flip a coin, I'd argue that that coin would be more likely to land on racists for the founders of companies that founded their companies over 50 years ago than not. So, I mean, I want to point that out. So I just think that merely suggesting that Margaret Sanger was a racist, which is true, does not prove, once again, that the reason why Planned Parenthoods are more likely to exist in areas with a lower median income on average compared to the country average is because of her and her racism, especially when we denote the fact that women who are experiencing financial instability are much more likely to access abortion.
Well, and that makes sense, but it doesn't mean that it's okay. Things that make sense aren't always going to be moral and right and okay. I mean, I don't understand how you can call me racist when I'm advocating for the birth of more Black people. How does that make me racist when I want more Black people, more diversity, more opportunities? I'd rather have a child born
By the way, you're
poor
pivoting.
Or what?
You're pivoting because remember, before we debate the ethics of abortion, or before I answer the claim insofar as why your argument is racist, which
Well, it
by the
is
way, I already
relative
have,
because
just
you called me
overlooked
racist.
You first have to try to prove that the reason why Planned Parenthoods are more likely to exist in areas with a median income below that of the nationwide average is because of Black people. And you haven't. Once again, you've just been able to say Margaret Sanger. But now, at this point of the debate, I've thoroughly debunked your claim 3 times.
Yeah, and you can believe that, and that's fine.
So then what's the counter argument to everything in which I've said?
My counter argument is that what you're saying isn't relative to what actually the core argument is, and that I support more Black people being born. You do not.
Wait, no.
I support
the core
children being
argument
born
that you were
regardless
making,
of their skin color.
You're pivoting again. You keep on
You're not
pivoting
listening,
again.
though. Here's this funny part,
I
though.
am, which is why I know why you're pivoting. The claim that you're pivoting away from is that the reason
well,
why...
if I'm an idiot and you're gonna cook
here's
me,
the
then
claim
just
that you
let me
made.
finish.
Here's the claim that you made. The claim that you made that you're pivoting away from is the reason why Planned Parenthoods are more likely to exist in areas with lower financial stability compared to that of the nationwide average is because they specifically want to target Black people because of the color of their skin. That's the claim you made. That's a claim that you supported by pointing out Margaret Sanger was racist. And then that's the claim that I thoroughly debunked at this point 5 times. So I want you to either concede that you were wrong when you argued that Planned Parenthood is racist today, or I want you to give a cogent and coherent counter rebuttal to like the 3 different counter arguments that I've given to debunk that notion.
Yeah, so you even acknowledge it yourself. That's the issue. And you're talking about debunking me, yet you agree with me that Margaret Sanger was racist. So when I said Margaret...
Wait, yeah, I agree with the claim that Margaret Sanger was racist. I don't agree with the claim that Planned Parenthood is racist.
Okay, and you can believe that, and that's fine. I can believe what I want to believe, and that's fine. But what isn't fine is that
So you want to move on now because you lost?
I mean, if you want to call it that, that's fine. It's not going to upset me or my soul. I'm not going to come off the panel and then think about you for the rest of my life because I am the it girl.
"Quote unquote, it girl is waving the white flag in the air because she can't give a cogent counter rebuttal against my claim to prove her wrong." Okay, that's fine. What do you want to talk about next?
You can believe that, and again, it's not going to hurt my spirit or soul.
My evidence that my belief is like tracking reality is a fact that you still haven't been able to provide any counter argument to my suggestion.
I've got one question for you, then I guess.
I guess so because you don't have a counter rebuttal. Okay.
Well, I guess I have 2 questions, but the first one is: do you not support more Black people being born?
What I support is everybody, regardless of their race, having access.
That's
to
a yes or no. That's a yes or a no. Do you support more Black people being born? Yes or no?
Do I support more Black people being born?
Why do you laugh at that?
Because you're attempting to insinuate that by supporting access to abortion, we are preventing more Black people being born, and this is racist. When in all reality, once again, the real racist fact of the argument that we're providing here is that when we ban access to abortion, we're disproportionately infringing upon the human rights of individuals. So here, Black people. So here's the way I think I'd answer the question. I do support more Black people being born, but I also support Black women having access to their human rights, even if it means less Black people being born.
Well, Black people having human rights would begin in the womb, which you clearly don't believe for some godforsaken reason.
Prove that. Why do you think that the right to life begins?
We can argue theory and history, but we can't
argue. So when does the right to life begin?
What do you think I'm going to say?
I don't know what you're going to say because I'm not you.
Conception. That's what science says, actually.
So science doesn't.
You still have yet to. You haven't answered.
Can I tell you why you just blundered?
No. I'll do that after you admit that you refuse to answer the question that I just asked you.
Oh, yeah, I did answer it. You said, Dean, do you support more Black people being born? You did not.
It's a yes or a no. Do you support more Black people being born?
My answer was yes.
Yes.
And then I followed it up by stating that I also support Black people having access to their human rights, even if it means less Black people being born.
There's no but. There's no but to that. Because if what you said is true, what you believe is true, what you claim you would practice it and you don't. You're defending Planned Parenthood.
Let me give you an example, right? Saying that we like would support more black people being born doesn't mean that we would support all ways in which more black people could be born. Like, for instance, do you support more black people being born?
What do you think?
I don't know. You answer my question.
I've said it 10,000 times, but sure, yes, I do support more black people.
Oh, okay. So that must mean that
And
you
I would rather
wait.
I would
Let me
rather
speak.
have a
Let me
child.
speak. Oh, okay. So because you just said that you support more black people being born, this must mean that you support white people forcing black people to breed in cages to ensure that we have like a higher level of a black population to enslave. Oh, wait, that's what the Confederates did. Did you know that the Confederates and the slave owners and the racists also supported more black people being born so then they could enslave them on their plantations? Oh, wait. What does this mean? That we do actually support more black people being born, but we don't support more black people being born if it means we're infringing upon human rights. And that's exactly the thesis that we would apply to like forcing black slaves to like engage in sex to then produce more black children to enslave. And for the same reason why we wouldn't support forcing black women to engage in continued forced pregnancy and birth in violation of their human rights and access to healthcare. So now we see with great clarity how we can support more black people being born as long as it is in respect to human rights of those in which are giving birth. That's the claim that I make. How about you?
You agreed with me.
I mean,
You
do you agree
agreed
with me
with me.
that we only support more black people being born if it is in respect to the human rights of the black person in which is giving birth?
So, what an incredible pivot that you just made to bring up slavery. What an
Wait,
incredible
answer my
pivot.
question. Can we agree that like the
You
claim?
said yes.
Wait, one moment. Can we agree?
You literally said yes.
Can we agree that we only support more black people being born when it is in respect to the human rights of the black person giving birth?
We absolutely need to respect human rights, which is why more black people should be born.
Wait, answer my question. I
I
don't
would
understand why
rather
you're not
have a
answering my
child
question.
born.
Yes, or
I
she's
would rather have a
dodging.
child born.
She's
and
legit
be-
dodging.
It's not dodge. It's not dodging.
I
at
just
all.
want a yes or no. Can we agree that both you and me support more black people being born as long as it is in respect to the human rights of the black person giving birth?
And the child inside of the womb.
Okay, so you want to add on "and" to the child inside
Right.
of the womb.
We can agree
now that's
with
the part
that.
I'll
What you
dispute.
said, and add in. We can agree on that, and then include human rights to the human in the womb as well,
The reason why I
because
dispute
it is
that
a human.
The reason why I dispute that is because I don't think that there's any good reason to give, the right to life to a zygote, as you suggested. Now, I actually do want to ask you a question about that because you said that you think that the zygote has the human right to life from the moment of conception. So let me ask you about that. Do you think that it's murder when you kill a human life with the right to life unjustifiably?
Well, there's a difference between killing and murder, correct?
So the question that I asked you is, do you think it's murder when you kill a human life with the right to life unjustifiably?
With the right to life unjustifiably. Are
Yeah.
you saying if the mother is having a medical emergency or something?
So when I ask you if it's murder to kill a human life with the right to life unjustifiably, I'm literally just asking you if it's murder to unjustifiably kill a human.
Yes, it is murder to unjustifiably kill a human.
Okay. Do you think that a woman not experiencing medical health complications can ever justifiably kill the fetus or zygote growing inside of her uterus?
Well, in the protection of all life, then yes, if there's a life-threatening situation for the mother, then that needs to be taken into account. But all medical procedures specific to
I
pregnancy
did take that into account.
and in general are focusing on protecting both lives. And if there's
Wait.
a
I did take
situation
that
in which
into account. Could you please answer the question?
yeah, so is it murder to kill a human being unjustifiably?
No, the question was, is killing like the fetus or the zygote inside of a woman's uterus always murder when that woman is not experiencing a medical health complication that could kill her?
I think in the case of ectopic pregnancy, then possibly.
Is it always murder in cases of a healthy pregnancy?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. So you think if a woman has an IUD, knowing that that IUD could kill the zygote after conception by preventing its implantation in the uterine lining, then you'd argue that that woman is culpable for murder if
Yes.
she engages in sex and a zygote develops?
Yes.
Do you think all murder should go to jail?
Yes.
So you'd argue that sexually active women on birth control should go to jail for murder?
Well, it would be women with IUD.
Yeah, birth control. So you do think some
So
sexually active women
yeah,
on birth
having an
control should go to jail for
IUD
murder?
and then having an IUD and then
Okay, so it's just
fertilizing
gonna answer. So this does mean that you think that some women who are sexually active on birth control should go to jail for murder, 25 to life, right?
yes,
All right. So who's the pro woman person now? Because it's certainly not you.
pro woman person. Interesting how you phrase that.
Yeah, because now you're saying that like
You believe that
like
pregnancy is a
women
precedent,
who are
that's that.
sexually active on birth control should be going to jail for the rest of
Sexually
their lives.
active with an IUD.
Yes, form of birth control.
And that's the whole point, though, of having an IUD is to prevent fertilization. That's
Well,
why it's like the
Serves a
rate of
secondary purpose
women that get
sometimes
pregnant.
to
Please
allow
let
for
me finish a
fertilization to occur than to
sentence.
prevent its implantation.
Please
All right.
let me
Well,
finish a
I think
sentence.
I think that I just won the debate, like, because clearly that's absurd.
You're not letting me finish a sentence.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So the reason why IUDs are so effective is because it prevents the fertilization of an egg. So if something like that happens, which is extremely and incredibly rare, can we agree that it is very rare for a woman to have a fertilized egg having an IUD and is sexually active?
I mean, I think it's at around 5% likelihood. If you want to consider that rare, you can, but I don't think the rarity of this outcome changes anything. For example, if I had a pistol in my hand and I shot it at my wall, which faces the street and other houses, it'd be like pretty rare and unlikely for the bullet leaving the gun to go through my wall and kill somebody on the other side. But still, yet if it did, I'd be culpable for murder. So I don't think that the rarity of this outcome changes culpability for the outcome.
Okay. Well, I think it's just good though to put it into context that like it's not breeding and it's not pro-birth, because we know that women a child can sustain its life outside of the womb typically between 22 to 24 weeks. So if there's something that happens before that, then that can be up for
I just
a
can't believe that she
discussion,
just
but-
said that like women should go to jail for murder for 25 to life for killing a unicellular organism. That's just so like wild. Like that's like clearly an insane view. Okay, how about this? You're in a burning building. You could only save one newborn baby or 10 fertilized zygotes. Who are you saving?
Okay, so I'd love to answer that, because making a choice like that, if I were to go for one or the other, it doesn't mean that the other one is less valuable of being alive, correct?
Well, I mean, actually, the predication of the question would imply that the group in which you'd save would have less value compared to the group that you didn't save would have less value compared to the group that you did save. Like, for instance, if you asked me that same question, but instead you posited, Dean, if you're in a burning building, would you rather save one newborn or 10 newborns? My answer would be the 10 newborns, and the reason why that would be my answer is because I ultimately do think that 10 newborns are more valuable in comparison to one newborn.
So like
I think
having,
it
like,
actually does
a Petri
suggest
dish.
a value proposition where you're comparing the value of the first group to the second group, and whichever group you save seemingly does have more value than the group in which you didn't save. So please answer the question: would you rather save one newborn or 10 fertilized zygotes with a human right to life that apparently a woman would be a murderer, should go to jail for 25 to life if they were to kill one?
Yeah, I would go to the 10 embryos. Absolutely, I would. Maximizing and protecting
Over
life.
a newborn baby. How about this? Donald Trump or the 10 embryos?
10 embryos.
Yo, based. Hell yes. All right. Maybe dude. Okay. No, that was a bad one. How about
What
this?
do you mean?
How about this?
Oh, here
Are
we
you
go.
Christian?
See, because like you're bringing up hypotheticals
wait.
because
I just got one more. I just got one more. Are you Christian?
Am I Christian? I'm
Yeah.
Catholic.
Okay. John the Baptist or 10 embryos?
10 embryos.
Oh my god, dude.
You could say actually I'll do you one better. Jesus Christ, 10 embryos. 10 embryos.
No fucking way! I didn't even ask you that. I intentionally went with somebody that was like surrounding Jesus Christ instead of choosing Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ, given the Christian worldview, is literally fucking God. You think that 10 unicellular organisms are more valuable than God?
God doesn't, well, Jesus himself doesn't give his life, yet by the means in which he allows it to be taken.
Shit.
He already sacrificed himself for the 10 embryos by being on the cross, did he not?
Holy shit, dude. Oh my god.
Jesus
I
Christ
just can't
already
understand the
sacrificed
absurdity.
himself for us by dying on the cross.
Dude, the
He doesn't allow
absurdity.
anyone to take his life without the willingness of God himself. So we can't
Holy
actually
fuck.
take we can't, when Jesus was crucified, it wasn't because,
Holy shit.
it wasn't because when Jesus was crucified, it wasn't because he wanted to, listen,
I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm listening.
I really hope you are.
Yeah.
Because the nails in Jesus's cross wasn't what kept him up on the cross. It was his. It was his sacrifice.
Then why did
At
he
any
fall
moment, he
off
could
of
have
the
called a
cross
legion
when-
of angels to come and take him
when-
off
when
of
the-
the cross,
when
and
the
he
nails-
didn't.
Oh, okay.
And he did it for people like me and for you, Dean.
Okay.